Hey guys, how you doing? Sorry for the long absence. Just been busy with a few things, so let's get started, shall we? First off, in a recent case, it was stated by the judge that medical evidence of rape is not required to convict an accused. Absolutely fascinating stuff. Delhi High Court has held that even in the absence of medical evidence, an accused is liable to be convicted for rape if the evidence of the prosecutrix is reliable. It is also reiterated that conviction can be based on the sole testimony of the prosecutrix without any corroboration. It was contended on behalf of the accused that the story of the prosecutrix is untrustworthy because the allegation against the appellant cropped up after an inordinate delay of 6 months. It is also argued that the refusal by the prosecutrix to undergo internal medical examination makes the allegation of the prosecutrix baseless, as internal medical examination is essential to confirm sexual ravage upon a lady. Now, that I believe is actually a fair point. Without establishing if rape occurred or not, how do you convict a person? But the court, it comes out with this doozy. Rejecting the contentions of the appellant or accused, Justice Mukta Gupta has held as follows. It is straight law that conviction can be based on the sole testimony of the prosecutrix without any corroboration. Even in the absence of medical evidence, the appellant is liable to be convicted since the evidence of the prosecutrix is reliable. Delay in lodging the FIR has been explained by the prosecutrix. Now, absolutely rubbish in my book. First of all, someone stating something is not evidence. Testimony by a victim cannot be considered as evidence without corroborating the facts. Honestly, how did this judge decide that the woman's statement is reliable? Did she undergo a lie detector test? I mean, no one can decide a person's testimony is reliable without facts supporting her. That's the whole point of a law. But when it comes to rape and sexual assault, that just goes out the door. Protection of women. What they've done is they have turned the principle of law, which is it is better 10 guilty go free than 1 innocent suffer, to the current one, the present one that's being used. It is better if 10 innocent be punished than 1 guilty go free. I also would like to read the rest of the judgment and what the judge stated. Quote, the court, while appreciating evidence of a prosecutrix, may look for some assurance of her statement to satisfy its judicial conscience, since she is a witness who is interested in the outcome of the charge levelled by her, but there is no requirement of law to insist upon corroboration of a statement to base conviction of an accused. This is something, isn't it? I mean, she is the victim as well as the witness. Does the judge forget that a witness is another person who has seen the crime and not the one who makes the complaint? Or is he a fucking idiot? Reading on, the evidence of a victim of sexual assault stands almost on par with the evidence of an injured witness, and to an extent is even more reliable, just as a witness who has sustained some injury in the occurrence, which is not found to be self-inflicted, is considered to be a good witness in the sense that he is least likely to shield the real culprit. The evidence of a victim of a sexual offense is entitled to great weight, absence of corroboration notwithstanding. Corroborative evidence is not an imperative component of judicial credence in every case of rape. Corroboration as a condition for judicial reliance on the testimony of the prosecutrix is not a requirement of law but a guidance of prudence under given circumstances. Does this guy even logic? She refused to undergo a medical examination. How do you know she's been raped? How would anyone know if this girl is lying or not? What? Do women not lie? Oh wait, I forgot. The laws were created with the assumption that women don't lie. My bad. The judge is right. To add to that, a man who was injured still needs facts to corroborate his story. I could ask my friend to beat me up and blame a guy for doing it because I wanted him to go to jail. How would anyone know if what I say is true or not without corroborative evidence or a witness? Now, technically, my wound was not self-inflicted. But my word is evidence, right? How do these people become judges? How do these laws come into play? A lot of women lie about rape. That's a fact. And sexual activity also does not constitute rape. And when a woman refuses to undergo any sort of medical examination, I would say that she has lost all credibility. Reading on, it must not be overlooked that a woman or a girl subjected to sexual assault is not an accomplice to the crime, but is a victim of another person's lust, and it is improper and undesirable to test her evidence with a certain amount of suspicion, treating her as if she were an accomplice. First of all, it has to be established she was subjected to sexual assault. Her word is not enough, and everyone should be treated with a certain level of suspicion. People lie. Reading on, Inferences have to be drawn from a given set of facts and circumstances with realistic diversity and not dead uniformity, lest that type of rigidity in the shape of rule of law is introduced through a new form of testimonial tyranny, making justice a casualty. Courts cannot cling to a fossil formula and insist upon corroboration, even if, taken as a whole, the case of spoken of by the victim of sex crime strikes the judicial mind as probable. You can't insist on corroboration if the case strikes the judicial as probable? Seriously, we have a kangaroo court system here. As long as a woman can create a good story without holes, she can get any guy convicted of rape. India, the so-called male-dominated society filled with misogynists. It's the country where a good storyteller can send a man to jail. I'm not even kidding. That's what this guy's actually saying. Anyway, that's done and dusted. Let's get on to the next thing. Now, there was a question and answer session hosted by our dear Maneka Gandhi, the Women and Child Development Minister last week. Remember, Women and Child Development Minister, not girl child. So one guy asked her this simple question: as Child Development Minister, what are your initiatives for stopping the dropout rates of boys from schools? More girls are graduating out of our schools and universities. Isn't it time to support boys to continue their education? And to this, she responded with 3 words: not under me. Not under her, that is. She is the Child Development Minister, and she says that she is not in charge of looking after boys. Well, we all know that's what she's about. She's been a staunch feminist and a man-hater. But, you know what? Now at least it's somewhat in the open. But I doubt she'll ever get fired because, feminists pretty much rule this country. Another person asked her, how critical is the role of men and boys when it comes to gender sensitization? To put it another way, how important is it from your perspective to engage with the other half of the population? To this, she parrots the same line she's used before. Obviously, it's most critical since all violence is male-generated. That's what she starts off with. Can you believe it? Like all feminist claims, there is absolutely no evidence for this, and it's a well-known fact that men and women can be violent. She goes on to say they will start sensitizing boys in school stage, rewarding the boys who are respectful and helpful to girls. Get them early. Make them a white knight as early as they fucking can. I've spoken about this particular initiative in the video titled Gender Champions. I think I did it like a few months back. And the nail on the coffin, and the final nail on the coffin, she said rape law in India is gender neutral. I honestly don't know if she changed it overnight or not. But according to the current laws, madam, only men can rape and only women can be raped. Kudos, Maneka Gandhi. She is either grossly misinformed or a pathological liar. I personally think she's the latter, a lying, scheming, man-hating scum. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Till next time.